Hello class. Last video, yes indeed, you had a visit from Twister Girl. And although Twister Girl is not here today, today's lesson will be just as exciting, if not more. Want to know why? Well, let's start by titling our composition book 5.2 Angle Sum and Exterior Angles of Triangles. Now, here's why this is so exciting for me. Triangles are my favorite shape. Of all the different shapes in the world, you have rhombuses, squares, circles. Triangles are my favorite. And to prove to you that they're my favorite, I am wearing a t-shirt of 3 triangles. So now you know this is my favorite. Okay, so whenever you're like, man, I don't know about this whole triangle thing, just think. Triangles have so much to offer, okay? So let's get started. Now, I have this triangle drawn on my paper. You don't have to draw this first triangle, ABC. I just want to tell you something about ABC. A, B, and C are all inside of this triangle. So since they're inside, they're called interior angles. So I'm going to write that. Inside is interior. So you might want to write that down. Inside angles are interior angles. Now, something very cool about the interior angles of this triangle is they all add up to 180. So that means A plus B plus C is 180. Okay? Now I'm going to write something down and I would love for you to copy this down. I'm going to put a star by it. Interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. That's a key point. So make sure you have that written down. Interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Then please copy down example number 1. Okay? This angle is 100, this angle is 30, and that is x. Just in case you couldn't see the angles. So because we don't have a number here, we need to find out that number. But fear not, we can find out that number because we know that these all have to be 180 added together. So my first step is adding the 2 known angles that I have. So I'm going to add 100 plus 30. And there I get 130 degrees. Okay? So then I need to subtract 130 from 180 to find out what that missing angle should be. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract 180 minus 130. And I get 50. So I'm going to write the measure of angle x equals 50. And this measure of this m with an angle, that means measure of angle. I'll write that. Okay? That is example number 1. Make sure you have that copied down in your composition book. To find the missing angle, you add the 2 known angles and subtract from 180. Okay, this is example number 2. I didn't write that. I'll write it now. 2. And what you'll notice about this one is I am trying to find this angle because it's x. So whichever angle has a letter, that's the one we're trying to find. And I'm only really given one other interior angle, and it's just a square. So remember, a square in the corner means that this angle is 90 degrees. Okay? So that angle is 90. I know that because it's marked by the square. I don't have this angle, and I need to know the other interior angle to find out this missing one. So I have key point number 2 that I'm going to write down up here, and I need you to copy it down. An exterior angle beside an interior angle adds up to 180 degrees. Now, I don't know if you remember from last class, but that means that that is a supplementary angle. That's what it's called. Okay, so what I mean by this is, remember, these three are interior angles because they're inside the triangle. This one, if you notice, is outside the triangle, so this 140 is an exterior angle. So now I can use this to find out what this angle should be. Okay, so I subtract, since these two angles right here, 1 and 2, they have to add up to 180. So I know this one, so I'm just going to take 180 and subtract 140, and that will give me this angle. So 180 minus 140 is 40. So this measure is 40. If you want to check your work, make sure that 140 plus 40 equals 180, and it does. So we're right. So this angle is 40. Now we have two angles inside the triangle, 90 and 40, and we can find x. So again, we're going to add our two interior angles, 90 plus 40. That gives us 130. So then we subtract from 180 to find this missing angle. So we get 50 degrees. So the measure of, remember, measure of angle x equals 50 degrees. And that would be your answer. Okay, this is example problem number 3. So there's a couple different ways that we can do this one. Now, if you'll notice, we are no longer solving for an interior angle of the triangle, but we are actually solving for an exterior angle. Now, what we just learned in our last two examples is these three should equal 180. So we could find what this angle is and then subtract that again from 180, but that's a lot of steps. So instead, I'm going to teach you a trick. To find this exterior angle out here, we can add the two angles that are not right next to it. So we couldn't add these two, but since these are not next to this exterior angle, we can add them together. So if I add 92 plus 31, that gives me 123, and that is actually the angle measure of x, and that's all you have to do. Okay, so the measure of angle x is 123 degrees. So whenever you're trying to find an exterior angle, you can add the two angles that are not closest to that exterior angle, add them together, and that will give you the exterior angle. Now again, if you wanted to do it the long way, you're welcome to, because remember, these add up to 180 and these add up to 180. These are your practice problems for tonight. Just a hint, practice problem 1 is just like example 1, practice problem 2 is just like example 2, practice problem 3 is just like example 3. So go back and refer if you're not sure what to do. You're finding the missing angle in each one, so x, find the missing angle, which is x, labeled x. Please take a picture of these and submit them to Edmodo tonight. Thank you.